What's up everyone, I am of course the Joker, and today I'm going to be talking about the good, the bad and the ugly on this new set, Flames of Destruction, which is out in the OCG. And I know I don't really talk much OCG because I'm a full TCG player, I'm not going to be playing OCG, but I wanted to talk about this set because this gives us, ideas of what to expect and what is going to be coming up next. And I just want to talk to you guys about, what the good, the bad and the ugly cards are. Just a fun thing I want to be starting when a new set comes out. This is what I want to be doing, and I'm so happy to do this because I now have a new camera. As you can see, it records a lot better than my other cameras, so I'm just super excited to get into this, and let's just get right into it, shall we? So I do have the site up here right now. I'm using Yugi Wikia. That's one of my personal favorite ones. It's the one I always use. And this is the Flames of Destruction set. So Flames of Destruction is going off the whole V-Rains. As you can see, it's coming from the site. It's coming from the, new anime. Now, I haven't gone into the anime because it's all subbed and I don't want to watch subbed. I've always been, has to be in English. It's from the day I've been watching it. So as soon as I see subbed, I just feel a little bit weird because I remember waking up every morning and watching it just before I go to school in English. But, I'm super excited to talk about this set. I mean, it's got so much to expect. It's going to be really awesome. Now, it is following Extreme Force. And I know I'm talking about this one before Extreme Force, but, there wasn't, I'll talk about Extreme Force maybe at a later date, but this is the one I really want to go off because there's been getting so much news on this lately all over my Facebook channel pages that I'm on. There's so many different pages I'm on and they've just been talking about this, and particularly one particular card which we will be getting into. But I just still want to talk about this. Let's talk about what's good, what's bad, and if it's even worth really picking up at the end of the day, because that's what I'm going to be bringing you guys, good advice, good news, and just helping you guys out as much as I possibly can. So as you can see, it includes cards used by the particular characters. I'm not even going to try and pronounce their names. It includes members and or support of Altergeist, Batteryman, which is Old School, Dark Lord, Goki, Monarchs, the Trap Hole, Tindangle, Trickstar, Vampire, Windup, and World Legacy. So that's really awesome to see, and plus it's introducing new sets called Element, Saber, and Troymare, which I'm absolutely loving the name of that for two reasons. One, it's basically Nightmare, and the first part of that is my name, which is Troy. So I really hope these cards are really awesome. And Element Lord, the first support for them. So in this set, you've got 5 packs, 5 cards per pack, and then you've got 30 packs per box. The set contains 80 cards or 103 in the Master set. So I don't know what the Master set is. If you guys want to look into that more, I'm just want to be talking about mainly about the cards, not the different kind of sets on this. But I will be leaving a link in the description down below to this exact site. You've got the 1 holographic rare, the 6 ultimate rares, the 16 secret rares, 6 ultra rares, and then my least favorite part, the 46 commons. So right now, at this point in the game, I don't want to be picking up sets that have a lot of commons. That's why I'm really interested in the Kaiba one, but I'll get into that when that comes out. And I mean, so right there, commons are never going to be worth anything. You never really need them unless there's like an OP common, which there aren't really that many around. But now it's time to get into the actual cards, and I'm going to try and go through this really quickly. I don't want this video to be too long, but depending on what card it is, I'm going to be taking my time. So of course, I'll have all the cards right here. As you can see, here's the list, and these are the cards we're going to be going through. I'm going to try and go through this as quick as I possibly can, just for you guys, give my quick an opinion on that. And as you can see, in Japan, it was released on January the 13th. 2018, so hopefully it comes to us soon, but you never know with these OCG sets. But now it's time to get into the cards, and for the first card, we of course have this Proton guy. So Protons, it's a basic Cyberse card, it's a level 1, so I'm not really seeing the use of this. I mean, you can go 1 for 1, then maybe you can use one of your duplication cards, bring out more, use one, I can't remember the exact names for particular ones at this point of time, but I mean, there's one play you can do, and then you can go for some link plays. So I mean, this one might take the place of other ones that are in the Cyberse decks, but that's if you want to be playing Cyberse. Now to the next one, which is Prompt Horn. Now Prompt Horn, once again, there's a lot of Cyberse support in this, as you can see. And the effect reads, you contribute 1 level 4 or lower Cyberse monster, special summon any number of normal monsters from your deck or graveyard whose total levels equal the level of the tribute monster, but banish them during the end phase. So pretty much you would be summoning this after you then special summon another one, tribute that, and then hell, why not special summon any number of normal ones, so you could special summon 4 of these Protron guys, and then you could go for your Link plays right there, so that's not a bad card if you can get the plays out. Backup Operator, you know, it's a level 3 as you guys can see. I'm not going to be reading out all this because you guys can see it pretty easily, and I just want to give my personal opinions on this, some combos preferably. You know, you can target one face-up monster your Link monster points to, special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, return that monster to the hand, but banish this card when it leaves the field. So it's just a switcher. It's a switcher, that's it. I mean, I don't really see the use of needing to switch a lot of monsters, so I don't see this card getting a lot of play compared to the other ones. Then Link Streamer, it's a level 4. The effect reads, when a Cyberburst monster is normal summoned or special summoned to your field while this monster is on the field, except during the damage step, you can special summon 1 data token, Cyberburst, you know, all that, and you can only use the effect of this once per turn. So you summon this, you activate one of the other Cyberburst cards which allow it to be special summoned, and then you get a token. So that's not too bad, I guess, but I mean, compared to a lot of the other Cyberburst ones that are just, if you control a Cyberburst, you can special summon this. It's not one of my preferably favorite ones. Degrenade Buster. Okay, already the name of that, and the artwork in this card does look cool, but let's read the effect. Cannot be normal summoned, must be special summoned from your hand by banishing 2 Cyberburst monsters from your graveyard. Quick effect, that's pretty cool. You can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls whose attack is higher than this card, banish it until the end phase. Okay, now this is a card I can get behind. I mean, you got to be link summoning so much, so once you link summon all your cards you want, you then banish those 2 Cyberburst monsters you're not going to use, bring out this card. Now let's say your opponent has a really OP card, you just banish it to the end phase. If you can attack him for game, now this is a card I can get behind. So far, I mean, there is a few good ones in here, but I mean, but this is definitely one that I would love to be seen. This is a common, I'm pretty sure that, yeah, it just looks so much nicer. Then we have some Trickstar cards. Now you guys know I love me some Trickstars, I run a Trickstar deck, but already I'm hearing some of the effects on these cards, and it's all link based, as you can see. With this one, if this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a link summon or a Trickstar link monster, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use the effect of this once per turn. Now, I don't know if I'm the only one, but I'm not a fan of this whole, you know, Trickstars going into the whole spamming out trying for a board and attack. I much prefer the burn version. It's so much more evil, it's so much more trolly, and it's what I'm going to be sticking with a lot more. So, you know, a lot of these Trickstar cards, I love the artwork, and I might get it as a collection, but that'd be about it. I'm not going to be going into investing in a lot of this set as the moment as it seems. Then we got Trickstar Mandrake. If this card is sent to the hand if this card is sent from the hand to the graveyard, you can special summon this card in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a link monster or a Trickstar link monster, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, your opponent link monster points to, destroy it. So, I mean, if you can discard it and then get to special summon it, it's okay, but, you know, Trickstars don't really discard that much. They don't really need to, so I don't see that card being useful. Trickstar Shakunga, I really hope so. Shakun Age? Yeah, Shakun Age. You can discard 1 Trickstar card, then target 1 Trickstar link monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. You can only use the effect of this card once per turn. Each time a card is banished from your opponent's graveyard, inflict 200 damage to them for each. So, now this I can see getting behind, so hear me out. Here's a combo for you guys. Dimensional Fissure, you play this, and then you just keep on sending cards to the graveyard. So, a whole bunch will be banished, they'll keep on getting burned, so this card I can see being quite useful if you want to be going into the whole, you know, banish a lot, and, you know, play a banish heavy deck. Now that I can get behind. But that's about it with this card. This would primarily be with a banish heavy one, and I mean, I don't play banish heavy at the moment, but for you green manjus, that's a combo you guys can do. And you know, you can even play Trickstar Reincarnation, just burn them a lot, and it'll be really fun to see that. Or you can run the whole Macrocosmos, that's another card that banishes a lot of cards, and it'll be really useful. But then we've got Goki Osto Stretch. Now, the Gokis I'm not really been a fan on. I don't really like the artwork. I've never been a fan of the names. But, you know, during damage step with this card, if an opponent monster attacks, quick effect, you can discard this card. Any battle damage you take from battle is halved. When your opponent activates a card or effect that would inflict damage to you, including during the damage step, quick effect, you can discard this card. Any damage you take from that effect is halved. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add one Goki card from your deck to your hand, except this card. You can only use the effect of this card once per turn. So, I mean, that's a pretty spicy effect, being able to, you know, protect yourself from life points. So, I mean, that can be quite useful. Then, Goki Hugbear. This card looks absolutely ridiculous. If this card is special summoned from the effect of a Goki card or normal summon, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half its original attack until the end phase. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add one Goki card from your deck to your hand, except Goki Hugbear, and you can only use the effect of this once per turn. So, you know, the Gokis look like they're getting some pretty spicy support. I don't see them being meta anytime soon, but, you know, you never know what can happen with this game. Then we got Defrag Dragon. You can special summon this card from your hand by sending one other card from your hand to the graveyard. You can only special summon Defrag Dragon once per turn. This way, if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish 3 monsters with the same name from your graveyard, special summon this card. So, the first effect I'm liking, of being able to special summon it quite easily. The second effect of you have to banish 3 monsters with the same name from your graveyard just to special summon this card. So there aren't really that many decks that run 3 of every single card, and I mean, you know, that's just not, I just don't see that coming out so easily. I mean, with Trick Stars, yes, you run 3 of every single card, but you might accidentally banish one, you might accidentally send, you know, might still have some in the deck. So this card, even with 1000 attack, that's pretty useless apart from the first effect. So it's like a 50-50 card of first part is good, second part is terrible. Then we've got Background Dragon. Now, if this card is in your graveyard and you control no cards, you can special summon both this card and one level 4 or lower dragon monster from your hand in defense position, but banish them when it leaves the field. Now this card, that looks pretty cool. I mean, if you've got no cards in your, if you control no cards, then yeah, you can special summon this. But in this current game, you don't really ever control no cards. You always want to have something out on the field, and if you don't have something out on the field, you have to hope that your opponent doesn't destroy you in that one turn, which can happen pretty easily. So I mean, this card, it is pretty much of a letdown. I mean, if you control no cards, and you could, you know, do this from the hand, that would be a lot better. I mean, Cyber Dragon does that if your opponent controls a monster. If you control no cards, you can special summon a lot of better other cards, so I don't see this card really being that amazing. Then you've got Tindangle Trinity. Now this is a flip effect card. You can special summon one Tindangle base Gardener from your deck. If this card is flipped face up, your Tindangle monsters cannot be destroyed by battle while this card is face up on the field. So at the moment, you know, if you can flip this card, you can protect your monsters. You got to make sure the defense is powered up. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a material for a link monster, for a link summon of a Tindangle link monster, you can add one card from your deck to, you can add this card, which I'm going to look into. You can add this trap card from your deck to your hand, which is targeting Tindangle. So I mean, Tindangles are getting so much support, but I'm seeing it as like crawlers. You know, crawlers rely on a lot of flip effects, so I mean, I don't really see them getting a lot of awesome plays. I mean, but that's just me. Comment down below what you guys think on all these cards. I'd love to hear you guys' opinions. Now we're moving on to Altergeist. Now Altergeist have been getting a lot of support, but this is another card deck that I'm not really a big fan of. I mean, I love the artwork, I just don't like the effects. And let's read the effect of this one. You can activate one trap card, except during the damage step. You can special, if you activate a trap card, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can special summon one Altergeist monster from your deck in defense position, except this card. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect. So, hear me out with this effect then. This will just primarily be a protection for me. I mean, you can't special summon any other monsters for that turn, so you're not going for any links, you're not going into your extra deck, you're not going into any of that. But, if you stop your opponent summoning a monster, that's most primarily you'd be using a trap card like Solemn Strike or anything like that, You can special summon this, then you get to special summon another one. You've got 2 protections right there, which isn't too bad in an Altergeist deck. So I mean, that's not too bad, but it's not the best. Then we've got another Altergeist. This is the level 1, so you can use 1 for 1. You can tribute this card, excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 excavated Altergeist card to your hand, also send the remaining cards to the graveyard. So I mean, this is like Power of Duality kind of thing, but searching, and you still get to special summon, so it's not too bad. Then you've got Mech Knight, which Avaram, you know, this is just a generic normal monster, so you can use this in whatever you really want to use this in. Then we've got Destroy Mare. Oh, this card looks beautiful. Destroy Mare. So, I love the artwork already. I'm sorry guys, that artwork is absolutely beautiful. I would get this artwork just to cut that picture and turn it into a token. But let's read the effect, let's see if it's worth it. When this card is normal summoned, you can target 1 link monster in your graveyard. Special summon it linked to this card, but change its attack to 0. Also, it has this effect as a negated. You cannot special summon monsters except link monsters. If this card you control is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card to your opponent's field in defense position. I don't know why I would want to give my opponent a monster in this format. That sounds stupid. I mean, what? Wait, but okay, you cannot special summon monsters except link monsters. So I mean, if your opponent has monsters that aren't linked, I guess it locks them down. But I mean, this, if you give this to a Monarch player, they contribute over it. So I mean, I don't see using that effect as a wise idea, but that's just my opinion. I mean, being able to special summon something, that's really nice, and the artwork is pretty good, so it's not too bad of a card. Then we've got some more World Legacy, World Lance. Now let's read this, guys. Your opponent's monsters cannot attack World Legacy monsters you control except this one. Okay, so if I can bring it out, you can only use each effect of this card once per turn. If 2 monsters battle, including a link monster, during damage calculation, you can discard this card. Your opponent battling. Oh, that is brutal. I mean, what? If 2 monsters battle including a link monster, so I mean, it has to have a link monster, which that part sucks. But I mean, your opponent's battling monster uses 3000 attack. That's not too bad. If a monster is special summoned from your extra deck, special summon World Legacy token, you know, to each player's field. Now, I mean, this card was sounding so good, but I mean, giving your opponent a monster at this point in the game, where everyone's being able to do into link plays, it's not a wise idea. It just doesn't work out too well. I mean, I'm just saying, it's not wise. Then we've got the new Element Sabers. So, this first one is called, I've just logged out of it. I'll go back onto it. It's called Elemental Saber, this one, Ania, which, this card looks cute. Like, look at this. This looks absolutely adorable. But okay, so once per turn, you can send 1 Elemental Saber from your hand to the graveyard, then target 1 Element Saber or Elemental Lord monster in your graveyard, except, you know, this card special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions. So I mean, you can declare 1 attribute. If this card is in your graveyard, you can declare 1 attribute. This card in your graveyard becomes that attribute until the... I don't know why that's useful. I guess a lot in the element decks, but I don't see them coming really back. The Element Saber Machina. Once per turn, you can send 1, you know, Elemental Saber from your hand to the graveyard. Add 1 card from your deck to your hand, except this card once per turn. Okay, so it's a lot of the attribute stuff. So I mean, if you're bashing stuff from the graveyard, I guess. So I mean, Chaos decks could really use these and just say one's light, one's dark, and be able to bring out their cards pretty easily. I don't see that being a problem. Elemental Saber Nelul. Nelul? Yes, Nelul. Once per turn, you can send 1 Elemental Saber monster from your hand to the graveyard, then target, you know, 1 Elemental Savior, add it to your hand, and then of course change the attributes. So it's all pretty much the same stuff of changing the attributes. So I mean, just looking into these cards, I thought they were all going to be girls. No, here's one guy. Once per turn, you can send 1 Elemental Saber monster from your hand to the graveyard. Send 1 Elemental card from your deck to the graveyard, except this card once per turn declares. So, I mean, in a Chaos deck, I can see this deck being good. I can see, you know, if it has to be particular ones of that attribute can be good, but, you know, apart from that, that's all it is. So, I mean, I'm hoping this deck does get better cards, but there's still more. I mean, there's still Elemental Saber, so I'm hoping this stuff gets a little bit better. Once per turn, when a spell or trap card is activated, quick effect, you can send one Element Saber, I'm sorry that I'm saying Elemental, Element Saber monster from your hand to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Once per turn, if this card is in your graveyard, you can declare one attribute. This card in the graveyard becomes that attribute, so it's all attribute related, but it's going to be the same. So I'm just going to read the first part. Yeah, that attribute once per turn, attribute once per turn, quick effect, you can send one Elemental Saber from your hand to the graveyard, then target one face-up monster on the field, change it to face down to defense position. So, I mean, it's all level 3s or level 4s, it's all pretty much changing the attributes, pretty much searching, pretty much adding, and that's it. That's all it is. But here's a newer one, here's a bigger one. Oh, there we go. Now I can see where this deck is going. Okay, if you can send 2 other monsters from your hand to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. Nice. You can only use the effect of this card once per turn, applying the appropriate effects to this card once per to these cards. Monsters you control, depending on the original attribute of the original. See, so you can change the attribute to whatever you want. Earth or wind. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. Water or fire, they cannot be destroyed by battle by card effects. Light and dark, your opponent cannot target them with card effects. So that's not too bad. I mean, I still see chaos a lot in this deck. Then you've got Forage of the Elemental Lord. Okay, cannot be normal summoned. Ah, yep. See right here. Except by must be special summoned exactly by having 5 light monsters in your graveyard. So you change them. When this card is special summoned, you can destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Now this deck is looking good. With the beast cards, it's looking real nice. But I mean, so you special summon it, you destroy the field. That's nice. Then we've got Solar Battery Man. I mean, Battery Mans have been out of the game for a really long time. I don't see them coming back, but you never know. If this card is normal summoned or special summoned, you can send 1 Thunder monster from your deck to the graveyard. If a Thunder monster is normal or special summoned, if a Thunder monster is normal special summon 1 Battery Man token. You can target 1 effect monster you control or in your graveyard whose original name includes Battery Man. Until the end phase, this card becomes that name. So, I mean, I don't really have much to say on the whole Battery Man things. I don't see them coming back, but you never know with decks. Then we've got this Watch Cat. Now, Watch Cat, they don't really have an archetype, but let's read the effect, guys. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Now, that's nice. That is a card I'm all down for. I mean, cards that you can special summon where you control no cards, that in my opinion is just a lot better. And, I mean, if this card was special summoned this turn, you can special summon... So, you can banish this card, set 1 continuous spell directly from your deck to your spell and trap zone. You can only use the effect of this card once per turn. That's not too bad. So, I mean, you can special summon and search for a continuous, or you can just special summon and go for link plays. Then we have Transfamiliar. Oh my god, the artwork on this card, it looks nice. Once per turn, you can target 1 monster you control, move that monster you control to another of your main monster zones. So if you don't have a lot of link monster zones, you can just switch it around, and that's all it's good for. I mean, the artwork on this card is quite nice, but that's all I can see it doing. Then we have Outroll the Haunted Sea. If this card is normal summoned or special summoned, you can target 1 beast warrior monster in your graveyard. The attribute and level of this card becomes the same as that monster until the end of this turn. During your main phase, you can special summon 1 beast warrior monster from your hand with the same attribute and level as this card. You can only use the effect of this card once per turn. You cannot special summon monsters. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate either of these effects. So I mean, you get 1 special summon and then that's it. That's only 1 special summon. So I mean, if this didn't have this Lattice effect, it would be nice. You could go for so many link plays, or you could go for, you know, Xyz plays, but you can't. So I see that card being really useless. Yajiri Vader. the artwork alone is just so funny. If this card is normal or special summon to a main monster zone other than the middle one, destroy this card. Okay. Once per turn, you can move this card to an adjacent unused main monster zone. Each time exactly one monster is normal or special summoned to your opponent's field. If that opponent's monster is currently not in this card's column, move this card to the adjacent main monster zone closer to that monster, then destroy all cards in the column this card was moved in. Okay, so that's really good destruction, I guess, but I don't know how I feel about that. That's really good destruction. Then we've got the Tiamathan the Steel Balaton Dragon. Okay, cannot be normal summoned, must be special summoned by its own effect. If 3 or more cards are in the same column effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Okay, you can only use the effect of this card once per turn. If this card is special summoned, destroy all other cards in this column. In this card's column. Unused zones in this card's column cannot be used. Okay, so that's pretty good destruction. It locks down your opponent. That can be really useful. I'm actually going to save this one to last, guys. I know I should probably go about the list, but I want to save this one till last. And now it's time to talk about the next card, which is Rapid Red-Haired Mare. So this card looks really nice with the artwork, so that's a pretty nice start. But the effect reads, if a column has no cards in it, you can special summon this card from your hand to that column in attack position. So that's pretty good. I mean, we're getting a lot of column stuff, we're getting a lot of column-based related stuff. So I mean, you've had the Magical Musketeers, now it's this stuff, so it's a lot of special summoning, which does look pretty good. You can special summon this card only once per turn this way. If another card is placed in this column, destroy this card. Once per turn, you can halve this card's original attack for the rest of this turn, but it can attack directly that turn. So you can special summon this card if you have no cards in that column, or if there's no cards in that column. Then you can, halve its attack for 1000, and then hell, why not at the very end of your turn just go for a link play so it doesn't get destroyed. Then we of course have this Boy Cotton. Boy Cotton looks absolutely ridiculous, I gotta say, but the artwork on this card is just ridiculous. But the effect is, you take any battle damage your opponent would have taken from the attacks involving this card instead. If you take battle damage from an attack involving this card, but this card was not destroyed by battle, return this card to the hand. So, primarily you want to make your opponent take a lot of damage, but if you take damage for some weird reason, then, it's returned to the hand, which isn't too bad, but, it's not personal favorite already. Then we've got some links. So we've got the Topologic Tresbana, which is a link 3, and it is a 2+ effect monsters, which means pretty much either a Proxy Dragon, which is a link 2, and a link 1 monster, or 3 effect monsters. If a monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to, banish that monster. And as many spells and traps on the field as possible, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each of the cards banished by this effect. So I mean, you can primarily, okay, so here's a combo. You can bring this card out, then you could special summon 1 to the field, but as long as you've got a heavy back row, so that's 5 cards, 2500 damage, plus the card that's banished, that's 3000 damage right there. So that's not a bad combo if you've got the time to actually do it. I mean, it's not the best, but it's still an option. Space Insulator, 2 monsters, which isn't too bad. Points up and down, and it doesn't say which 2 monsters, so it's pretty easy to bring this card out. I can really see this becoming a generic one. Monsters this card points to lose 800 attack and defense. Okay, that part makes it not generic. When a Cybers Link monster is link summoned to your field while this card is in your graveyard, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card to your zone that monster points to, but it cannot be used as a material for a link summon. Okay, now this card is just useless. There's no point. I mean, it lowers the attack, you special summon, but you can't link summon, so it just makes this card completely useless in my opinion. And yeah, I am going a lot faster. This is, I've had to switch it up. I've had to go a lot faster with this part. I don't want you guys, you know, watching for a long time. There is so many cards we still gotta get through, and I want to do this as quick as I possibly can for you guys. So now we've got a Trickstar Bella Madonna. Now this card, of course, takes Trickstar cards, precisely 2+ Trickstar monsters, but it's a Link 4, so I mean, you gotta get at least either 2 Link 2 monsters or, you know, 4 Trickstar monsters regardless. If this card is Link Summoned, cards... sorry. If this Link Summoned card does not point to a monster, it is unaffected by other card effects. It is unaffected by other cards' activated effects. If this card does not point to a monster, you can inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each Trickstar monster with different names in your graveyard. So, as I said at the beginning and while this video, you know, I don't like the way Trickstars are going. I don't like this whole trying to spam the build to burn your opponent. There are just so many much easier ways to do it, so I primarily don't want to see this. But at the same time, it's a pretty nice artwork, so I mean, if you want to go for that play, go right ahead. It's just personally not where I'm probably going to be going with this deck. Then we have Trickstar Bloom, another adorable looking card. It takes 1 level 2 or lower Trickstar monster, so we've got a few level lower ones, but they're not primarily the best ones. If this card is Link Summon, you can... if this card is Link Summon, you can make your opponent draw 1 card. That's not too bad. If a Trickstar monster this card points to is destroyed by battle or a card effect, you can inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each card in their hand. Now, if you can bring this card out and you can make your opponent draw, and for some reason yours monster is destroyed, then it's good. Other than that, it's really not that useful. I mean, once again, you know, the burning effect is so much easier with other ways. I mean, you can even... Hell, I would prefer to run the Wind Witch engine to bring out Crystal Wing instead of... or Cyframe Omega instead of trying to bring out these ridiculous Trickstars. Then we've got a Trickstar Delphindium. And this card takes 2+ Trickstar monsters. Of course, there's a Link 3. When this card declares an attack while it points to Trickstar monsters, you can target any number of banished Trickstar cards up to the number of Link monsters your opponent controls and add them to your hand. And if you do, this card gains 1,000 attack for each card added to your hand. So this is a slow play card. I mean, you got to have the time to be able to banish. You got to have make sure your opponent is playing Links, and you know, there's so much that could go wrong while playing this card. So you know, I'm not going to call it a good one. Then we have the Goki Master Ogre. This card, of course, takes 2+ Goki monsters. Once per turn, quick effect, you can return any number of Goki monsters this card points to the hand. Then target that many face-up monsters your opponent controls. They have their effects negated until the end turn. So that's not too bad. It's negating a lot. It's pretty good with that. This card cannot. This card can attack all your opponent's monsters once each. So you know, it's like a dinosaur card. I mean, I can't remember the exact name. Dinosaur Tyranno, I'm pretty sure. Something Tyranno. Comment down below if you guys remember the name of that card. But that's what it pretty much seems like. If your opponent controls a face-up monster, this card can only target their monsters with the highest attack for attacks, either if tied. So it has to make sure you've got... It has to attack the highest ones, which I mean, that's not a good part. If that part wasn't there, it would be a lot better. Then we have the Altergeist. Now, this Altergeist takes 2 Altergeist monsters because it's just a Link 2, which is pretty nice. When your other Altergeist monster is inflict battle damage to your opponent, you can target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your zone this card points to, but it cannot attack except during the turn this card declared an attack. So if this card declares an attack, it's good, but it's got 1,000 attack, which isn't too good. If this card is destroyed by battle, you can target 1 Altergeist card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So I mean, it's not too bad, but the attack could preferably be better for its combos and abilities to go off a lot better. Then we have the Troy Mares. Now I'm already loving these because, as I said, my name is Troy. That is actually my real name. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that before, but you know, I'm just super excited. I mean, 1 Troy Mare monster except Troy Mare Mermaid. So I mean, you can't use the own card to bring it out, but I mean, that's pretty nice. If this card is Link Summon, you can discard 1 card, special summon 1 Troy Mare from your deck. Then, if this card was co-linked, when this effect was activated, you can draw 1 card. You can only special summon... you can only use the effect of Troy Mare Mermaid once per turn. All monsters on the field lose 1,000 attack, except the co-linked monsters. Yeah, they let me down with that last part. That let me down. That's just not nice. That's just too evil. But I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, I guess. Then we've got Troymare Goblin. Loving the names of these cards. If this card is link summoned, you can discard one card, apply this effect, and if this card was co-linked, when this effect was activated, you can draw one card. So, you know, a lot of co-linking here. Once applied during your main phase, this turn you can normal summon one monster to your zone this card points to, in addition to your normal summon. So, I mean, and neither player can target your co-linked monsters with card effects. So, I mean, these Troymare cards, they're good and bad. As long as you've got the co-links, they're pretty good. Then you've got Troymare Cerberus, 2 monsters with different names. If this card is link summoned, you can discard one card, then target one special summoned monster in your opponent's main monster zone, destroy it. Then if this card was co-linked, when this effect was activated, you can draw one card. So that's pretty nice. And co-linked monsters cannot be destroyed by card effects. So it's protecting a lot if it's co-linked and all that, which I am definitely liking. But I don't know how I feel completely about all these cards just yet. Then we've got Troymare Phoenix. Once again, it's a link 2 monsters with different names. If this card is link summoned, you can discard one card, then target one spell or trap card your opponent controls, destroy it. Then if this card was co-linked, when this effect was activated, you can draw one card. So it's a lot of drawing as long as it's co-linked. I mean, it's a lot of protection, and, you know, co-linked monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. So, if you've got this co-linked with a Cerberus, or, you know, if you've got them pointing together and all that, then they can't be destroyed by battle, and they can't be destroyed by card effects, which really would lock down the board, but you've got to make sure you're able to bring these cards out, which might be difficult, but, you know, it'd be definitely fun to see. Then we've got Troymare Unicorn, 2 monsters with different names. If this card is link summoned, you can discard one card, then target one card on the field, shuffle it into the deck. Then if this card was co-linked while this effect was activated, you know what happens? You get a draw, of course. And you can only use the effect of this card once per turn. While co-linked, Troymare monsters on the field draw cards equal to the number of those with the different names instead of one for your normal draw during your draw phase. So it's a lot of drawing, it's a lot of co-link, so it's a lot of fun. But you got to get the board, so I don't see this being meta as long as you can spam out the board a lot. Then we've got Troymare Griffin, so it's a lot of links as you guys can see. It's a lot and a lot of links. 2+ monsters with different names. If this card is link summoned, you can discard one card, then target one you can target one spell or trap card in your graveyard, set it to your field, so that's pretty good, but it cannot be activated this turn. Then if this card was co-linked, you get to draw, and you can only use the effect of this card once per turn. Special summoned monsters cannot activate their effects unless they are linked. So I mean, this could primarily also lock down your opponent, make sure your cards are protected against everything, and it'd primarily just be a lot of fun with a lot of draw power. Then we've got some wind up stuff. Maintenance, so I can see some wind up stuff coming back. Hopefully, you know, a lot of that comes off the ban list. There's too many to name off the ban list, but you know, 2 wind up monsters. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target one wind up Xyz monster you control, attach it to this card. Attach this card to it as a material. You can only use the effect. You can only use each of the following effects of wind up maintenance Zen Macon once per turn. If this card is link summoned, you can add one wind up card from your deck to your hand, or you can banish one face up wind up monster you control you can banish one face up wind up monster you control face down, special summon one monster with the same name from your deck. So that sounds like a lot of fun. Then we've got some Vampire Sucker. I just love the artwork on this girl. And the effect is 2 zombie monsters. If you would tribute a monster for a tribute summon, you can tribute a zombie monster your opponent controls as if you controlled it. So if you've got Zombie World, there's a lot of combos you can do with this. So that's pretty good. Only good with zombie decks, but I love zombie decks, so that could be a lot of fun. You can only use each of the following effects of this card once per turn. You can target one monster your opponent in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your opponent's side of the field in defense position, and if you do, it is treated as a zombie monster, so you could go for another one of these. You could special summon, treat it as a zombie monster, tribute summon it to bring out a zombie monster, which would be fun. If a zombie monster is special summoned from the graveyard, draw one card. So, you know, it depends on how you look at it, really. If you've got Zombie World, the effects could be really, really useful. Then we have this amazing pint-sized priest. God, he looks absolutely ridiculous. 2 beast or beast warrior and or winged beast monsters. gains 100 attack for each beast, warrior, and all that on the field. Once per turn, you can target one spell or trap card on each player's field. Destroy them. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can target one of your beast, all that that is banished or in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So, I mean, Beast Warrior decks and all that, this could have been better when Zodiacs were a thing. But, you know, this could help Zodiacs, but I mean, who's going to be playing Zodiacs anymore? Then we have Great Fly. Great Fly is 2 wind monsters. All wind monsters on the field. So, finally, yes, wind monsters get one. So, we've had Mrs. Radiance. We've got the other ones on all that. So, hopefully, we can see more of these coming out on the whole generic 2-link monsters so they can help a lot of decks. And this one, you know, it's pretty much got the same effect of Mrs. Radiant, except it helps wind monsters and it lowers the attack of earth monsters. So this would be really against evil against Mrs. Radiant. If this card is destroyed by battle, you can target one wind. Yeah, it's basically the same effect of Mrs. Radiant instead of it helps wind monsters. So I can see this card being really good. Then we have Cyberal Cyclone. So finally, we're getting into some spell stuff. Target one link monster your opponent controls. Banish one monster from your graveyard when this with the same link rating as that monster. And if you do destroy that monster, that's just ridiculous. I'm not even going to go on with that, guys. That card sucks. I mean, it's good against link decks, but I mean, apart from that, it's just not good. That's not even worth talking about. It's that bad. Then we've got Trickstar Light Arena. If you link summon a Trickstar monster, you can target one Trickstar monster in your graveyard that was used as a material for that link summon, special summon in defense position, but its effects are negated. So a lot of special summoning once per turn. You can target one set card in your opponent's spell or trap zone while this card is face up on the field. That set card cannot be activated until the end phase. So it's pretty much got that same effect of light stage. But you know, I'm not liking this whole just trying to spam, so you know, I don't really want to be talking too much on that. You guys can comment down below and I'll be happy to talk to you guys in more detail about that, but I'm going to be going through these a lot faster. Then we have Trickstar Bonquite. Target one Trickstar monster you control and one face-up monster on the field. Return that Trickstar monster to the hand. If you do, that other monster gains attack equal to the returned monster. So this is good for attacking, it's good for bouncing back, and it can be a lot of fun. Then we've got the Goki Face Turn. Target one Goki card you control and one Goki monster in your graveyard. Destroy that card on the field, and if you do, special summon the other monster from your graveyard. So that's a lot of special summoning, which is really nice to see. Then we've got World Legacy End. Once per turn, if a face-up link monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of your opponent's card effect, you can special summon one World Legacy monster from your hand. So once again, a lot of these cards is a lot of special summoning. I mean, you guys can check out this site and read them for yourself. But, you know, if it's a lot of the same effects, you know, I don't want to be going into it. This is targeting one monster in your graveyard, special summon to a zone of link monster points to. So, I mean, I don't want to go into a lot of the World Legacy cards is just special summoning. Then you've got World Legacy Nightmare. You take no battle damage from attacks involving your co-linked monsters. Once per turn, you can activate one of these effects. Move one Troymare monster you control to another of your main monster zones, or switch the locations of 2 Troymare cards. So that's pretty fun. Temple of the Elemental Lords. So I mean, I don't want to go into too many of these spells. I mean, I went a lot into the trap. I went a lot into the monsters. So I mean, I want to give you guys the time to think about these. I'm not liking the spells already, and that's why I don't really want to be talking about them. Second coming of the Monarchs. Activate by targeting, you know, special summon in defense position. I mean, that's good for Monarchs, but that's pretty fun if you want to run Monarchs. I know I'm going over these a lot faster than my other ones. I'm sorry about that, guys. I want to do this as fast as I can. Now, I know I'm taking a really long time to do this, but there's just so many cards to go over, and I just don't want to go over all of them. Primarily, you know, you've got Lightseeker. A lot of these spells I don't want to go over. That's why I give you guys the time. If you guys want to talk about them more, like if I see something that really pops out, I want to talk about the monsters and all that, but these cards I just don't really like. And when I found one that I do like, of course I will be stopping it, like this one, Designator from the Grave. Target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it, and if you do, monsters with the same name as that banished monster that have their effects negated until the end of the next turn. So that's not too bad, but it's not a personal favorite. Selective Reborn. Target 3 monsters in your graveyard. Your opponent chooses one of those for you. Finally, now this is a card I'm liking. you know, for you to special summon if you do banish the other one. So it's finally we've got a monster reborn that is really nice, really fun. And I mean, as long as you've got 3 badass monsters, who cares? And here's to be even evil. If you've got a Trickstar deck, just pick 3 of all, like 3 Lycros, and, you know, or just pick 3 that you really like to bring out, and it'll be a lot more fun. Green Mandrew, this card could be absolutely amazing. Imagine this. Okay, so I've got 3 Green Mandrews in the grave, pick 1, banish the other 2, and just power up the Green Mandrew I just brought out. That's a fun card. Then we've got Limit Code, don't want to be talking about this because it's Cyber, so nope. Red Reboot. When your opponent activates a trap card, negate the activation if you do. Set that card face down, so it just negates sets. I don't really like that card. And now for the next card, which is Gurguns, and now this is another trap. This is towards Tin Dangles, and because of that, you know, as I said, I want to try and speed this up for you guys. So we've got Altergeist. You know, these cards just right now, I'm just not liking them really. I'm already at this set, I mean, because of all the different cards, I mean, we've got resistance to, you know, code linked stuff, but I mean, because of all this, I don't really see myself picking up this set because of the cards that just, they don't interest me that much. Some of the links are fun, I mean, we've got some elemental stuff, and, you know, I would take my time on, like, Dark Lords. This is really nice to see that they gain some support, but they're pretty good at the moment. Without even traps, like a lot of these trap cards, because they don't stop summons or, you know, when your opponent special summons a monster from your deck or graveyard. So now this, I can get behind Network Trap Hole. So when your opponent special summons a monster from the deck and or graveyard, banish that monster face down. So that's not too bad. But I mean, some of these cards, I mean, Infinite Trices, I just don't see myself, like, playing a lot of these cards. I don't see them really useful. But I mean, that's just me. Comment down below what your guys' opinions on a lot of these cards. I would love to hear what you guys got to say. Then we've got, it's like some of these cards are just ridiculous. Mankey, I mean, Mankey. I mean, if this wasn't Mankey, well done, Konami. You've just made even terrible names. Target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Discard cards equal to that level, and if you do, draw cards. Yeah, sorry, not, yeah, target 1 face-up monster, so I mean, it's discarding and drawing. Just, I don't see a lot of these cards being that useful. And then for the last trap, which is Shrub Serpent, and this is, if this set card is in its owner's control, is sent to the graveyard or and/or banished by your opponent's card effect, you can special summon 1 monster from your deck and/or extra deck. Now that's good, that could be a bait, that could be really fun to see, and that'd be a lot of fun. But now it's time for the final card that I want to talk about. Of course, I want to save this card to the very end because this is the card that made me actually want to talk about this set. This is the card that, you know, all over my Facebook channels that I'm a part, all the Facebook groups I'm a part of, you know, so many different YouTube channels I'm watching. You know, I take a lot of advice from those guys, and this is the one card that stands out above all the rest because we're getting another, you know, Nuka card. It's another annoying card. Now we've had Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, which hits the extra. We've had Ghost Ogre, which hits the field, and we've had Ash Blossom, which sadly is the one that I'm missing, other than this one, that, you know, hits the deck. Now, finally, we've got one that hits the graveyard, because why not? Hand traps just gotta hit everything, right? So this is why I wanted to save this card for last. This card is just absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if I want to run it, or if I want to get it, but, you know, this card, if it's not too expensive, it's definitely a card worth picking up. Now, you know, the effect, I haven't even read the effect, but because I haven't read the effect for you guys yet, but I'm sure you guys can see it for yourself. I mean, when a card or effect is activated that includes any of these effects, quick effect, you can discard this card. So yes, it's quickie, and negate the activation. So, adding a card from their graveyard to their hand, deck, or extra deck, stops that. Special summoning from the graveyard, stops that. Banish a card from the graveyard, stops that. I mean, okay, so when I first thought about this, I'm like, what decks actually rely on the graveyard? And there are so many when you actually think about it. I mean, okay, so this stops the whole Trickstar Reincarnation. This stops Burning Abyss ones. You know, other decks, Spirals even have a few plays that involve the graveyard. So this card is really, really nice hitting those particular decks. So it wouldn't be a main card, but of course it's a nice side deck card just to troll those cards. And that's why, you know, this set isn't fully the best as much as I would like it. That's why I went over a lot of cards a lot more in detail, and some cards, you know, I just skimmed over. But if you guys want to check out the whole list, you know, I will be leaving a link in the description down below to this site. Now, this is just a card I just wanted to say this is definitely the card worth picking up. Out of all the cards, it's 50-50. Some are good, some are bad, some are ugly. But, comment down below what your guys' opinions on a lot of these cards are. I'd love to hear you guys and what you guys got to say. And, of course, comment down below what you guys want to see next. And if I'm able to make any of those Yu-Gi-Oh! Related videos, I'm happy to make those videos for you guys, because that's what I love doing. Or if you don't want to comment down below and just hit me up on any of the social networks I'm a part of, feel free to do that. All that stuff will always be in the description down below for you guys. But of course, till the next one, I hope you guys have fun dueling, keep on smiling, and remember to enjoy the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Itself. That of course ends it for me, the Joker, and I'll see you next time, everybody.